You will learn something if you are in a business where you interview people. And there was a time when liberals used to come on programs like talk radio. Back in the day when I did local talk radio, we'd get them on from time to time. There was a time when they'd come on national radio. And anymore, it's very difficult for them to get them on any one of my national radio shows or podcasts because they've learned a lesson. And the lesson is that they just stay in their tank and Republicans largely stay in theirs. And yeah, there's the occasional time where you get a Ted Cruz going on The View, and that's incredibly entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's better in terms of political discourse for this to happen. But there's another aspect to things you'll learn in your interviewing people is getting people to talk is the way you uncover who they actually are. And just letting people talk and visiting with people. And if you want to be aggressive and you want to take someone down, when you let someone talk, they're eventually going to build the way that you take them down. And I remember this from the days of talk radio, that you get someone very, very comfortable and you're visiting with them, and then you could come with, if you want to call it a sucker punch, so okay, call it a sucker punch. But it's not always that. Sometimes the conversation simply unfolds. Lizzie Warren decided to go into a long-form podcast. And when she made this decision, she forgot something. She is an actress. And she's an actress who has lines written for her. And when she decided to go on this program, she forgot that this is not going to be easily scripted. This isn't something where it's talking points. And when there are people who are addicted to talking points and they are forced to get off the talking points, it becomes very, very evident who they really are. And by the way, kudos to this host. And I learned about this from AP for Liberty. That's Austin Peterson. And I see Austin is a subscriber. Thank you, Austin, for being a subscriber. Wake Up America show, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., 776 American. Thank you, Austin. And thank you for this work. Lizzie Warren decided to go have an actual conversation, and here's part of what happens.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I had at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, the question is, what are we going to do now?
Okay.
Okay. And by the way, great job at simply asking questions. And Lizzie Warren, at the get-go of that exchange, she loses it. She had the liar's face. And I want to go back to that in a second because the liar's face is, look, I didn't invent having open-ended conversations with people and waiting for them to hang themselves. I learned that from my mom. I mean, my mom was a champ at saying things to me like this. I saw that you ate some Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, I ate some. They're good, aren't they? Yep, they're really good. They're hard to stop eating, aren't they? Yeah, they're hard to stop eating. How many do you think you ate? Well, a lot. Did you eat them all, including the ones your sister was supposed to sell? I get that look on my face, and I'd smile. And no, and I'd laugh, and I couldn't hold it together. My mom would just sit there, and I'd like, so okay, then I'm convicted. This shouldn't be the case with adult human beings. And if you watch this or listen to this again, Lizzie Warren is a 6-year-old kid sitting there with a mother, in this case, father figure, half her age. And let's just take this again from the top. All right, but before we watch this again, let me give Alex a chance to cue this video up and again. And let me just say this, and I said this at the top of the show. If you're a medium-sized business owner, that makes you a medium-sized person. If you own a medium-sized business or a small business and you have not established actual corporate credit, you're making a decision to leave your corporate veil pierced. Meaning, if God forbid there is an issue at your company, you can be sued. People can go after your retirement account, your home, your kids' college funds, and anything else, your wife's salary, okay, or your husband if they don't work at the business. Now, you don't want to go out and hire a team of accountants and lawyers to do this. You're busy running your business. You don't want to do it. Praise God that there's now Visible. They've solved this entire problem for you in 7 easy steps. They will help you establish corporate credit. They'll do 90% of the work on their own. They'll leave some work for you, like actually open credit in your name, but they'll show you how business credit, properly run, responsibly run, grows faster than personal credit. It builds a firewall between you and that company you run. And in fact, it gives you advantages in terms of being able to respond to emergencies or make investments and use the credit responsibly as leverage to grow. There's to manage cash flow. They've handled everything. It's a quick process, and they'll give you a free, no obligation consultation. And I'll give you a guarantee. Once you talk with the people at Visible, you're going to learn something about your business and credit. In fact, you might not know this. You have a corporate credit rating now. In fact, you've got 2 of them. Didn't know that, did you? Here's the website. Go to govisible.com. The website again is govisible.com. Let's see if Alex has recued this video.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
She is laughing. And that's a brilliant question. Because, of course, Lizzie Warren is one of the queens of the world. She's the sharpest of all of the sharps. I said what I believed to be true at the time. Her shoulders drop. She is about to crack up and start laughing like I did when I was a little kid. And this continues. And I got to go through this again. I'm sorry. This is too masterful. This is too good.
I said I had not seen decline.
Okay. Her staff couldn't be there because she says this and then looks to the side. And anyone who knows natural linguistic programming, there are 2 ways people look when they're either trying to deceive or they know they're deceiving. That fast face movement. And the host gets this. She can't even continue eye contact with him. Oh, and that look.
At that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know
Not when I said that. Did you mean to steal the cookies your sister was to sell? Not when I started eating them. United States Senator, in a 1-minute clip, admitting through body language and laughter and turning her head aside that she lied the entire time. The thing is,
he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in
she's
sentences.
Doing it again. He's
praise.
cracking her up.
Fair enough. Look,
I lied.
The question is, what are we going to do now?
Okay.
Okay. This cannot be something that's going to be repeated with Lizzie Warren. Did she learn a lesson? When your positions and your lies and your life and your party is based upon lies, you can't have long-form conversations with anybody because you're always about 5 questions away from being uncovered. And again, I'll compare this again to kids. because this was a kid thing. When I worked in the government schools, there was this case where a boy had tried to stab another boy, and he had a little knife, and he tried to stab this other boy, and I was the discipline coordinator, so I had to meet with this kid, and we're sitting in the principal's office, and so I was talking to him, and it's okay, so why did you try to stab Levi? Well, he was going to kill me. He was going to kill you. Yes. With what? By the way, Levi was a second grader. With what? The kid does this, like Lizzie Warren. He turns his head quickly to the side. A machete. Levi was going to kill you with a machete. And the kid does this where he sits on his hands. And that's a liar's thing, because now I'm just going to try to hide parts of my body, and I'm not going to move my hands. And so he just sits on his hands. He goes, yeah, a machete. How big was the machete? Now, see, I'm making him move his hands. So he pulls his hands out, and he makes the hands about like 3 feet long, just like that. Wow, that's a big machete, because that's almost as long as Levi is tall. Where did he hide it? Because I didn't see it. In his pants. He hid the machete in his pants. What color was the machete? Purple. It was a purple machete. And this kid is keeping up with this and trying to keep up with this farce. So I said, wow, this is very serious. Well, where is the machete? In the river? It's in the river. How did it get in the river? Levi threw it in the river. Levi threw a purple machete that is half or more his body height over an 18-foot fence, and it landed in the river, and Levi was 30 yards away from the fence. Yes. He kept up that farce until I called the school resource officer on the phone and put him on speakerphone. And Officer Gibbons listened to this farce and then said, well, I tell you what, we're going to have to get a team of divers out there and a helicopter. So I'll get that in the works. We'll start the helicopter up now. We'll get the divers and a SWAT team out there. And then as I'm looking at the speakerphone, because you used to, when there were speakerphones, you used to look at them as if you're looking at the person. And then I hear on the couch, I go, what? He didn't have a machete. I go, oh, Officer Gibbons, I think we got a problem here. I don't think this guy's telling the truth. Oh, I'll be right over. Hangs up the phone. The Democrat Party is a party that set itself up for this. Do you want MS-13 members in the country? Well, I mean, at the time I was speaking about this, I didn't know they were MS-13. But now that you do, now that you know this guy was pulled over driving a car that belonged to a convicted human trafficker who was himself in the country illegally, and he was driving that car with 8 people who had no luggage and weren't allowed to be legally in the country. Now do you want MS-13 in the country? Well, this should be a lesson for the entire Democrat Party. If you can't have long-form conversations without 5 questions in, or in the case of Lizzie Warren, 1 question in, what are you actually selling? And more importantly, I guess, what do you actually believe? And of most importance of all, take that conversation that you had in 1 minute and do it in front of the Savior of mankind. On that moment where your knee has bowed, your tongue has confessed, and Jesus asks you a very simple question. How did you treat the least of these when you were a United States Senator? Because that's how you treated me.